What's going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into it. So right now we're looking at the NASDAQ daily time frame. As you guys can see, we're looking at a rising wedge pattern, which is a very strong bearish pattern. We rejected here, we rejected here, we rejected here. We attempted to break out of here, and now we're somewhat rolling back into this pattern. Now, it's not truly convincing yet, but we are back below the pattern. And we look at the 4-hour time frame just to get a better view. You can see a much better picture here that we are somewhat rolling back into this pattern. And you guys know, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, that anytime we roll back into a pattern, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, there's a good chance that we're going to continue in that direction. So right now, we are rolling back into this rising wedge pattern, which is a good sign for bears, but I'm not truly convinced just yet. Okay. And the reason why I'm not truly convinced is because we got a lot of bullish wicks to the downside. Bulls are really letting themselves be known here. Bullish wick here, here. You got about three strong bullish wicks to the downside. So I would like to see these guys get stopped out of their position. That way, they panic and then they get out of their position. Then we drop further down. Now, the key level that I am looking for here to really break down. You can say 21,100. I'm not so much caring about that level. The main level that I am looking out for is 20,960. Mark that on your charts. 20,960. We break below 20,960. We are very, very illiquid towards the downside. Okay. Let me mark this out for you guys. 20,960. You break below that, you are free falling. Okay. You can go as low as about 20,500. I don't know what's going to cause that. We do have news tomorrow. It could possibly be that. It could possibly be Nvidia earnings. Who knows? But right now, that's the level that I'm looking forward to. So I'm not too bullish and I'm not too bearish right now. I think that goes without saying, considering we're just pretty much consolidating in this area here. But I would be careful, okay? In either direction, I would be really careful because we're not giving a clear sign of what the market is trying to do. But I would say, as long as we stay below this pattern, there is very much strong potential for more downside. So 20,960. I'm not full blown bearish until we break below that level, and then we get into this very, very illiquid area, meaning that we have no structure, nothing is here. It's just an empty void. You're going to drop pretty fast, I imagine. Okay, so that's what I will be looking out for in regards to the NQ. Um, and that's really all I have for the NQ. We do have some fair value gaps that need to be mitigated to the downside. We have like three big ones. So this is the daily time frame. So you're looking at daily fair value gaps that needs to be cleared out. You got one at 21,100. You got one at around 20,800, 20,700, and then you're looking at another one all the way as low as about 20,350. So that's what I will be looking for if we do continue to break further down. So let's look at the ES. And so the ES, I will say the ES does have a little bit more upside if we are looking at this channel. Let's actually zoom out a little bit here so you guys can get a better idea, right? So we've been trading in this channel for years now, right? We've been trading in this channel here. You guys see it here: rejected, bounce, rejection, rejection, bounce, over and over. You're just pretty much trading within this channel. And I will say that it does look like the ES is attempting to somewhat hit the top of this channel. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't, maybe it's just pretty much done for now. We'll see. But there is potential for a little bit more upside if we are looking to head towards the top of this channel once again. And so we're looking at about 6,100, somewhere around that range, maybe a little bit more before potentially seeing some real downside, or we just head further down from this point on. Okay, so either scenarios, even either scenario is possible here. I mean, I'm not too bullish, I'm not too bearish, but you're seeing a lot of weakness in these candles that's just forming here. We're looking at the daily time frame, just a lot of weakness. I mean, you see it here. Strong bullish candle, strong bullish candle, strong, and then you start seeing this weakness come in, and then you're starting to form these dojis, right? And so you look at the 4-hour time frame, and again, there's not much to go off of here. You're just consolidating, and you're just seeing a lot of small candles, very slow movement, nothing very special to talk about. Now, in regards to a level that I'm looking forward to breaking down, is that 5,990, 5,980 if you really want to play it safe. Okay. Again, we have fair value gaps that need to be mitigated to the downside. So that's what I'm looking forward to if we are looking at downside in the market. So Again, I'm not, again, we're not fully bullish, we're not fully bearish. It's more safe to be bullish considering the overall trend. But if we're talking short term, things are looking a little sketchy, I will say that much. So let's look at the triple Qs. All right. So 520 is still a possibility here. I will say that much, guys. Okay. 520 is very much a possibility. Despite what the NQ is looking like, Triple Q still has a little bit more space to the upside in its rising wedge. As you guys can see here, we rejected here, we rejected here, bounce, 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 so on and so forth, right? So there is potential for one of these moves, but I will say as long as we're below 515, then there is possibility for more downside. But your main key level here is 512. We created more support at around 509. I will say that much. We created new support around this area. I know this fair value gap is in the way, but it's around 509.8. So I will be looking out for that support. But 512, we broke below 512, and that's when we headed lower. So that just shows how significant that level is. But then we just reclaimed it, and as you guys can see, we closed right back above 512. So that just shows how significant this level is. We talked about in the last video how important 512 is, and over, we're just playing games all around it. But there is potential for a move back to 520. 520, 522, more or less. And then from there, I don't think we're going to see more upside for the short term. Okay. Long term, definitely possible to see more upside, but short term, I just don't see it. Now, I'm not saying 520 is guaranteed to happen, but it's still on the table. But if we are looking to reject from here, considering just how weak the market is, or the tech side is, or these candles in general are, we could be looking at downside here. We start filling these gaps to the downside. 505. All right. 505 is the main key level that I'm looking at. So if we break below 512, I'm looking at a move back to 509.8. And after that, you're looking at a move towards 505. After 505, I don't think we're going to see a further breakdown. Okay, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't. I think we're going to see one more massive bounce, if it is possible, to the upside in the overall market. Whether what causes that, I don't know. But right here, okay, so right here, you see a bounce. You see this 505 gap get filled, and then we possibly head back further to the upside. So if we don't see 520 between tomorrow and Friday, I do imagine that we're just going to break down, hit 505, and then there's a possibility for us to try 520 all over again. I think it's obvious that everyone's expecting that 520 move, so I think that's, and I don't like too obvious. Okay, I don't like too obvious. It's too obvious that everyone's expecting 520, so I do imagine the market makers and market is going to play games heading towards that level. So that's what I'm looking forward to. 520. We get above 515 again, then there is a possibility that we head towards 520 all over again. All right, so that's what I will be looking out for. SPY. SPY. So SPY has a lot going on here. So let's actually zoom out. We're looking at the daily time frame. Right. So SPY has a lot going on. As you guys can see, just like the ES, we're trading within this channel. You rejected here, bounce, bounce, so on and so forth, right? So SPY has a lot of resistance up here. Okay, so I will say that much. So this is why I'm kind of leaning more bearish, but again, I'm just not super bearish just yet. I mean, the market can just continue to play games here. The SPY can just stay stagnant here while the triple Qs just climbs up slowly. You see it across the market. You've been seeing it for like the past week or so that some things go up, some things go down, some things consolidate while others go up. So the SPY and triple Qs, they can just play mind games all over, over and over again, and it'll just be really annoying. So we are looking at a lot of resistance here. You guys see here, we're looking at this channel. We rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, bounced here, bounced here. We broke out. We hit the top of this daily channel that I just showed you guys. So we zoom out once again. You guys see it here. We hit the top of this at around 600, between 600, 601, and then we rejected, and now we're falling back into this smaller channel, right? So there is potential for us to head further down. Now, 596, okay? 596 is what I want to see get broken down. You can say 595 is your psych level if you really want to play it safe. And then after 595, you're looking at a move towards 592, all right? And then 592, you're looking at a move towards 585. So I would really love to see the SPY visit 585 before we see that next move up. But the market doesn't care about what I would like to see. But that is something I would expect to happen or would want to happen. So if we go down to the 4 hour time frame, you get a better view. Again, you guys know how I feel about rolling back into these patterns. So look what happened here. So we broke out, we hit the top of this channel. So this shows you guys that I don't make this stuff up. Okay. I just draw the trends. I show you guys the trends, and I show you the rejections, the bounces. But this just shows just how serious this trend was, right? We broke out, or attempted to break out, right? We broke out, gapped up, we hit the trend. You would think after this gap up, we'll continue further up, but no, we didn't. We hit this trend. So I imagine bulls got trapped after this gap up, and then we rolled back over, and then we're rolling back into this channel, and then look what happened once again. We retested this trend line. We retested the smaller trend within the bigger trend. So we retested this, and now we're slowly fading away, right? So we're not quite there yet in regards to like some super drop or anything like that, but this is something to note. Retest, broke down, you retest a smaller trend, you're starting to break down all over again. Okay. So something to really, really pay attention to in regards to the SPY. All right. So go back to the daily time frame just so you guys can get one more view. All right. So you guys see that I didn't make this up or anything like that. Just really keep in mind on what I just said about retesting the top of this channel. And that's exactly what happened. We hit the bigger channel, we fell back down, we roll back to the smaller channel here, and now there is potential for us to head further down. And you guys know, once again, anytime we roll back to a channel, or a pattern or whatever, there's a high chance that you're going to continue in that direction. So that's something I will pay attention to. The VIX. Now the VIX is in a different spot here. I will say that I said this in another video that the VIX can head as low as 12. It's just really, really, really tough to say if that's going to be possible at this point. Just given where the VIX is. Okay, so the VIX broke below support here. So I will say that much. We talked about this in the last video. You see it here, very tough support. I mean, bounced here, you bounced here, you bounced here, you're bouncing here. But now you got this bearish engulfing candle breaking down here below about 14.5. And so there is potential for the VIX to head lower. And I can't say for sure if the market is going to react strongly to that or the market is just going to consolidate higher. Okay. So what I mean by that is that the market just plays games and you don't see some clear direction. You just see this slow movement to the upside. So I will say that much. But 12, I think if anything, I think that would be the last point the VIX visits if we head there. Okay, so um, I will mark this on your charts here right about here. You're looking at 12. After 12, I mean, look, you zoom out, you see just how significant that 12 level is. I mean, look how often we bounced off of it. We attempted to break below it, and then we just broke back up. So if we start heading towards 12, I think that's the final push. And at that point, I think the market is pretty much done. All right. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in regards to the VIX. I mean, this can easily be a bear trap or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it in regards to the VIX, but this can easily be a trap, and then the VIX just shoots up. At some point, this fair value gap is going to be needed to be mitigated, and then this gap is going to need to be filled as well in regards to the VIX. All right, so that's what I have for the VIX. Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just been an absolute monstrosity. Okay, so I did say there is potential for Bitcoin to head towards 95K. I mean, it hit it right on the money, basically. I mean, it got really close, about 93,500. So I guess it's about perspective in regards to being close. But yeah, Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin stays above about 87K, you're pretty much fine here. I will say that much. But once Bitcoin starts breaking down, then I imagine that's going to be the signal that the market is breaking down. So if you want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, I don't blame you. It does have a foot in the market. It has crypto within the market. It has stocks within the market. So it has an ETF. So there is a legit reason to consider Bitcoin a leading indicator. So as long as Bitcoin, if you want to keep it simple, as long as Bitcoin is bullish, then it's safe to say that the market is going to be bullish. But we'll see. Okay, if Bitcoin starts to drop, like really, really drop, then that's the sign that you should start panicking in regards to the market. All right, so we'll look at some stocks real quick. So Nvidia. So Nvidia is so we're looking at the 4 hour time frame. As you guys can see, we're trading within this channel all over again. Okay, trading in this channel, you rejected here, you rejected here, you rejected here, you rejected here, and then you're just pretty much teasing up here as well. In regards to earnings, I don't see anything special in regards to the charts in regards to earnings coming up, and earnings is next week, Wednesday, in case you didn't know. But we're hitting like double resistance here. You see the top of this trend, you're hitting resistance here as well, and then you're just constantly rejecting it. There is an argument that this could potentially be some inverse head and shoulders pattern, but we'll see. Okay, we'll just have to see. But Nvidia is just holding 146. If Nvidia gives up 146, then chances are we're heading lower towards 144, and then after 144, you're heading towards 142, 140 range. So Nvidia is just holding up strong. I will say that much. It's just not giving up. I mean, despite where it is, despite it hitting double resistance, it's just pretty much just hanging out up here. Okay, so I imagine some bad news will have to come in for us to really just break this thing down. Um, we can go to the 2 hour time frame and get a better look at things, but again, you guys see it clear as day. We're just playing games up here. There's not much to go over. You're consolidating a lot, right? So I would look out for maybe individual news for Nvidia. I don't think Nvidia cares about PPI or anything like that. I would imagine that individual news, like I don't know, maybe their new chip or something like that. But regardless, just really pay attention to Nvidia. Right now, you're just seeing you ended with somewhat of a bearish engulfing candle that could be a sign, but you're still closing above 146. So until we give up 146, really tough to say where Nvidia wants to go. 146, 149. You could say 150 as your psych level, but Nvidia's just trading in this range. Not much to talk about here. Apple. So in regards to Apple, so Apple is just really, really, really playing games here. So you have, and I mean, this is really tough here. You're looking at the daily time frame right now, and so if we're talking about not an inverse head and shoulders pattern here, you got your shoulder there, your head here, and then you have another shoulder here, right? And then you have your neckline right about here. I mean, you do the math, okay? And then you not only have that, but then you have, I believe, on an hourly time frame, you have a symmetrical triangle as well forming. Um, yeah, that looks chaotic, so we're not even going to bother with that. I don't want to confuse you guys, but yeah. So there is a bearish pattern here. What's throwing me for a loop in regards to Apple is there are fair value gaps back to the upside at around 232. So I will say that Apple can head as low as about 220. I would say the lowest is about 217, and then from there we'll have to see what happens. But right now, Apple just looks pretty bearish. Okay, I just don't have anything for Apple in regards to upside. I mean, it keeps retesting this trend line right here. I thought it was going to attempt to head back to 22. What am I talking about? 227.5. Um, before potentially heading back down, but it looks like it just pretty much gave up here. There's not much to go off of here. I mean, honestly, it can go higher, but right now, it looks like it's just rejecting here, but it's not strong enough rejection for me to be like, all right, it's just going to plummet straight down. Okay. So just keep an eye on Apple. That's all I really have for it. And I think that's it. I mean, I think that's all I really want to go over in regards to the market. Tesla's been a beast, but I drew this out like clear as day in the Discord. We broke above. This is a crazy bear trap, by the way. I mean, this is an insane bear trap. I mentioned this in the Discord when this happened. Like, man, bears. I mean, bulls got. I said not bear trap, bull trap. Bulls got destroyed here. I mean, if you got calls after this break of this supply and demand zone, and then it just break. Oh my gosh, RIP to your account. But anyway, Tesla's breaking back down. It filled this gap, so and it's getting weaker here. These candles are getting weaker, so it's tough to say. If anything, it does have the potential to retest. Where is it? It does have the potential to retest back up here at around, I would say 343, between 340, 350 before heading lower. Possibly make some type of double top here before heading lower, but no reason to be bullish on Tesla, at least for the short term, until we get back above here, or at least above these guys at around 363, 364, somewhere around that range. But Tesla, I mean, Tesla needs to cool off. I mean, that goes without saying, right? Now, long term, if we're talking Tesla, I think Tesla can easily double by the end by next year. Okay, easily. I think Tesla does have the potential to double. I would just look for an opportunity to jump into Tesla when that does happen, or when that potential shows itself. Okay, but right now Tesla just has a lot of gaps to the downside. I don't think it's going to be doubling anytime soon. I could be wrong. We'll see. But as long as Trump is in office, I think Tesla has a long, very good future ahead of it. So we'll see. Other than that, that's all I have for this video. Discord link is in the description below. Congratulations to Discord members. We made a killing today. A lot of members actually went crazy on a lot of trades on their own, as well as my trades that were alerted. So we've been having a really good week. So hope to continue that. Discord link is in the description below if you want to join. And other than that, that's all I have. Until the next video, traders, you have a good one.